On the road to Bad Blood on October 5 in Atlanta, Georgia, Monday Night Raw rolled through the Toyota Center in Ontario, California, with a main event pitting Jey Uso challenging Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. This match, weeks in the making, headlined a broadcast that also featured the latest in Sami Zayn's pursuit of the World Heavyweight Championship held by Gunther. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest attempted revenge on the Judgment Day for the weeks of torment. And Drew McIntyre's response to CM Punk's words from last week. What went down? Who emerged with momentum on their side? And how did each segment rate out? Find out now with this recap, including analysis of each major match and development from tonight's Monday Night Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Yeet! Hey there, welcome. Yeet. Yes, sir. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streaming.com today. It's damn sure going to be after tonight. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom, Michael Bullock. If I sound like I have a spring in my step, I obviously do, for not one, but two reasons. I think you know the reasoning behind both of those. So, the password for tonight, most assuredly, is yeet. What a night. I mean, I'll get into the specifics, down the line, but all I know is this was a banner night. It's a banner night. That's all there is to say on that. One for me personally, because of what happened in a certain game tonight. And of course, what just happened just a few moments ago to end Monday Night Raw tonight. We'll get into all that, and we're going to have some big fun with that in a little while. But first, we have some other business to attend to as part of our review of Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Toyota Arena in Ontario, California on the USA Network. And there's not much more to say. We started it off with an in-ring segment as it was the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan along with Dominic Mysterio. They kicked off tonight's show with a victory lap in celebration of the Judgment Day's recent dominance and the former's revenge tour going according to plan. Rhea Ripley interrupted and had two very important announcements to make. Number one, she is cleared to compete following the knee injury she suffered a few weeks back. And number two, General Manager Adam Pearce announced that Dominic Mysterio will not be able to interfere on behalf of Liv Morgan at Bad Blood because per Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, Dominic Mysterio is going to be suspended above the ring in a shark cage. The Eradicator then rocked Morgan with a headbutt, knocking her loopy and leaving Dum Dum to check on her. And as Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan entered the arena in a lowrider, Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed crashed through an interestingly placed merch stand, continuing their brawl from a week ago. And wait till you hear the latest development in that saga. Oh, it was nice to see Liv Morgan take center stage and get the individual promo time after fading into the rest of the Judgment Day in recent weeks. She had been too strong a heel not to be featured, as she was heading into SummerSlam and Bash in Berlin. Morgan claimed, "I'm going to beat you, not because I'm better than you, but because I'm better than you." For foreshadowing, thy name is Liv. This was a strong, noteworthy promo to start the show that put the spotlight back on Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan's unsettled differences after shifting the focus to the overarching war between the Judgment Day and the Terror Twins. Strong way to start off this banner night, so not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Women's World Championship at Bad Blood. Dum Dum is going to be suspended in a shark cage. Oh boy.
Yeah. And if you notice the tone that I had in there, I was not a happy camper. I absolutely went off on General Manager Adam Pearce, basically calling him a bona fide stooge. And I actually said a few other choice words I'm not allowed to repeat It was definitely not PG, we'll say that. But I was definitely playing the heel role very up there. But I will say this, guys. If anybody thinks that now that Rhea Ripley and Liv is going to have a true one-on-one, there is a problem. Yes, Dom will be suspended 15 feet in the air, locked up in a shark cage. But you know that doesn't necessarily mean that person's getting out, that person will not get involved. I now believe Rhea is not winning the title. And I truly believe the Judgment Day will be involved and they will help Liv successfully defend the title. And yes, Dominic will have an outcome in that very match. Because remember, there's a couple of things in play when it comes to a shark cage. Number one, a referee outside the ring will be responsible for a key to lock Dominic inside. Number two, there's going to be an operator that needs to hoist the shark cage up that will make sure that Dominic will not be involved in that particular match. Here's the problem that's going to happen. Knowing the Judgment Day, they'll take out that operator. They'll lower that cage. That means Dom will be at least at ground level. Then either you use, like a pair of bolt cutters, or knock the referee stupid, grab the key, unlock the lock, Dom's out. Now you got 4-on-1 or 5-on-1 with Liv there. Now, of course, you got the other thing that could neutralize the whole situation would be you would have to worry about Damian Priest, and the other person you will have to worry about in that instant would most likely be none other than Jey Uso, because you would probably think that Jey would probably want to protect Rhea. Whatever the case may be, this was a very good promo. This was a very good segment. I loved everything that was incorporated. And that's when I thought Booking 101. And I was like, the minute they said Dom was getting locked into a cage, I'm like, Rhea successfully defending the title. I instantly said Rhea's going to win.
You mean Liv retaining the title?
Liv. So I'm excited. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm pretty jacked up here tonight because of what happened on Raw. But Liv is successfully defending the title. She's winning that now. And there's no doubt in my mind she's winning it. And because of the fact that they believe, or they're thinking in the back of their mind, that we got Liv right where she wants them, and now I'm going to get my belt back. Sorry, honey. You must be more stupider than you think, Rhea Ripley, because I now just realize what's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat the humble crow. But something like this, the last time we had a shark cage match, where it was something with a title on the line, with Triple H and Owen Hart. At the time, China was stuck and hoisted up in the air in a shark cage herself.
There was actually another one. The last one that I can recall, MF, Royal Rumble 2017, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns with Chris Jericho.
With Jericho.
The Universal title. So, and you remember that. And what about, and My memory's a little rusty. What happened with that Triple H and Owen Hart match?
China broke the bar.
Oh, that's right.
She
Yeah,
dented the bar. And then Road Dogg basically lowered the cage for her to get involved.
oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then at the end of the thing, and I think there was like a whole bunch of referees that were trying to get involved to try to keep her out of it. And it was a backfire because I believe it was either X-Pac or Badass Billy Gunn basically laid out Owen Hart, leading to Triple H to hit the pedigree and successfully defend the title.
Uh-huh.
DX. Need I say more?
Was that Unforgiven 98?
Yes.
Okay. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay.
So
Been a long
that's why I'm saying that. And I do believe it's about to happen again. Now, anybody who's thinking that Rhea Ripley's about to become the women's world champion,
no.
sorry, folks, you better check that ego at the door because that ain't happening. Just saying. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Great segment to start, wouldn't you say, MF?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Bullock, come on in.
And let's not forget another thing. Like John Moxley or back he was known as Dean Ambrose. Nope. Yeah, I mean, this was a really good promo. I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, Dom's going to be in a shark cage, but yeah, I do get this funny feeling that this is not going to end well for Rhea. I mean, she may think she has the upper hand, but the Judgment Day, you know they're going to be thinking one step ahead. And they're going to do something like maybe what Fletch said to make sure that Liv still walks out the women's world champion. And like you said, the only way that our chances could improve is if Damian Priest comes out, maybe even Jey Uso. But let's not forget, Fletch, even if those two come out, it's still 5-on-3. I mean,
it ain't going to be enough.
You would have to think of two others that could possibly help neutralize. I'm thinking, and I know this could be a long shot, maybe Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee.
Because I could see possibly LWO. Yeah, I could see LWO get involved and try to even up the odds.
Yeah, because remember, they got their issues with the Judgment Day as well.
Yeah, well, it looks like I hate to say it, but I think the LWO's got another problem on their hand. Well, one of the members of the LWO's got a problem on their hands, and we'll get into that.
Well, yeah, I was going to say we'll get into that, but I could see those two members of the LWO maybe helping even the odds. So we'll wait and see what happens. So a good promo here. It's yours, Florio, as we move on.
Yes, indeed, and man, so many memorable shark cage matches in history. I'll even go as far back as December 26th of 1987 at one of those legendary Madison Square Garden house shows. The Honky Tonk Man versus Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart in a shark cage. That was one of the very first WWE shark cage matches I ever can remember. And then MF brought up one that completely got away from me. I mean, Triple H and Owen Hart. Man, it's been so long. That one actually left me. So I'm glad you brought that up, MF.
And what about The Undertaker and Mankind?
I was about to get into that, Bullock. Yes.
With Paul
Undertaker
Bearer
and Mankind, 1996 Survivor Series in Madison Square Garden. Paul Bearer in a shark cage. And of course, like I just mentioned, the most recent one that I can recall with a title on the line, Royal Rumble 2017 at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Chris Jericho in the shark cage. And Michael Bullock, I mean, you and I will never forget it. When Jericho was first in that thing, when he was screaming, and the laugh riot we had with that. I remember the Raw chat we had that night. Oh my goodness, we couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny.
Jericho just said "stupid idiot." We were the ones that came up with the mutton head part.
Yeah, but then when he did the Foley, I mean, you and I could not stop laughing that night. It was so funny. But one of our great laugh riots of all time. That is until tonight, though. Trust me when I tell you.
Oh yeah, and trust me, knowing that Dom is not going to be in there, he was not happy. He could not believe that he was hearing that he's now going to be getting thrown into a shark cage. But
and the last one that I can remember, unless there's been some since then, SummerSlam 2017, Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo Amore. Shark cage. So, but point is, there's been a lot of them, and they've all been entertaining in their own way. So, with the exception of that SummerSlam match, that match was a dud, far and away the worst match of that show. But nonetheless, we got to move on here. Let's move on now to our first match of the night. Sami Zayn squaring off against Ludwig Kaiser. Sami Zayn wins the match 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Gunther comes out afterwards. And MF, he kept saying it. He said it again. My answer is and will always be no.
No. He basically is. I saying it. He's got to find a way to. Sammy's gonna have to push his button. He's got to push that button. I don't know what button he's got to press, but he's got to hit that button that's gonna send him over the edge. He's got to have to do something because right now, the champion is being steadfast. And I hate to say this, but champion's prerogative. He does not have to put the title on the line against Sami Zayn. He could challenge anybody he wants. He could put the title against anybody he wants. He's got, when you're the world champion, you got the prerogative. You get to pick and choose who you want to face. And as much as Sami wants to fight, and we all want to see Sami get a shot at the title again, he's got the right to say no. 3 stars for the bout, 3 to 3.25 stars for the bout. It was a fine match. And again, just because he's saying no, unfortunately, he's got the right to do that. As much as I know I'm not happy about it, I know Bullock, you were not happy about it, I know Flair, you're not happy about it. And I actually kind of laughed the whole time and actually gave Gunther I was like, oh, I was like, all right, Gunther, you had me, bro. I thought you were gonna bite. I thought you were gonna make him sweat it out more. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, and yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Well, the only thing is, Fletch, I mean, what more buttons can Sami Zayn push? He's tried everything. He even did bring
He might have to go personal.
He even did bring up WrestleMania. And
that's not no. He's gonna have to go even deeper. He might have to bring up the wife. He might have to do the unthinkable. Bring up the wife.
Like that she wears the pants in the family.
Yes. He's gonna have to hit the jugular on him. He's gonna have to go so vile or say something that's gonna trigger Gunther into the fight. Maybe call him a gutless champion, or you're gonna have to say something. And hell, I would even say bring up the wife. Bring up the wife and say, if you're such a gutless coward, maybe we know who wears the freaking pants in your family. That will trigger it.
Here's another thing. Maybe it proves a point that Gunther is a chicken. Well, you fill the rest of that blank.
No, well, I don't even think Gunther would even care if you call him that. I don't think he really cares. He's going to have to say something. You know what he could also say? You're an embarrassment to professional wrestling. You know how much Gunther cares about professional wrestling. You know how he cares about being in that ring. You're gonna have to say something about that, like that. You're an embarrassment to the title. You're an embarrassment to the company. You're an embarrassment for even being a wrestler in the ring.
Or
That
here's
might trigger him.
or that Seth Rollins was much more of a fighting world heavyweight champion than you ever were.
That could also trigger it. Yup, that would set him off.
Because if you're going to be a fighting champion, then why the hell are you turning down Sami Zayn? That's not what a fighting champion does.
Well, again, here's the thing.
I know.
As the world heavyweight champion, you get to pick and choose. You get to pick and choose your opponent, unless Adam Pearce finally puts his foot down and says, "No, Gunther, you will defend the title against Sami Zayn," because I think that's the only way this is going to happen. Either A, you provoke Gunther into the fight, or B, you're going to have that huge Adam Pearce say enough is enough, and you're going to have to put the title on the line against Sami Zayn, and it's official. That's the only way this is happening.
And maybe he can also say something like, if you once again refuse to defend that title, then I will strip you of that championship. Just a thought. Just a thought.
It's a thought.
I'm not
but
trying to say.
To me, I would be livid. That would set me off, and that would not be a good thing.
No.
Set me off like that. But
I'm not trying to say
I will
it can happen.
No, and that's what I'm saying. But I would say Pierce is gonna have to put the foot down on this and say, "No, you're gonna fight, and you're gonna have to do the title match." That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. In other words, there's a whole plethora of things that can happen here. So we're gonna have to wait and find out. I'll say right now, it's gonna happen, but it's not a matter of if it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when. 3 stars for the match. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. 3 1/4, 3.5 stars for me. Predictable. I mean, strong opening match with Sami showing great heart for surviving. Wade Barrett did a nice job on commentary, putting over Kaiser by saying that he would have beaten 90% of the roster with that performance. For whatever it's worth, Gunther was dressed in his ring gear. So yeah, read into that what you will. So, but nonetheless, Sami Zayn continued his pursuit of the World Heavyweight Championship, defeating Ludwig Kaiser in a stellar matchup. One of the top fights of the night. Not the fight of the night, but a top fight of the night for sure. Ludwig Kaiser is one of the most intriguing wrestlers on the WWE roster. He has the presence and in-ring ability to be a top-tier talent, but it feels like he has to eventually break away from Gunther to make that happen. And I mentioned it about Wade Barrett, and a great bit of analysis linked the crowd to reaction to Zayn's ability to fight back from anything. They love him, he feeds off of it, and uses their cheers to fuel him. Great stuff. 3 1/4, 3.5 for me. So we move on now. And, well, it's not often we have these on Raw anymore, but we actually had one. We had a cutout. As it was Dragon Lee squaring off against Carlito, and Dragon Lee wins the match in roughly 2.5 minutes. Obviously, this is the worst fight of the night. And, there was not much to this one, with most of the meaningful action taking place around the squared circle. Dragon Lee picked up a win, which is always welcome given his immense talent. But if I'm going to be honest with you, LWO feels like a faction that is stuck on a booking treadmill with no real direction, which is more of an indictment on the creative process than anything. So it was about a 1-star match, a 1 to 1.5 star match for the effort. Definitely the worst fight of the night. So, okay, now this is where we're going to start to really have some fun now. We were supposed to have a match with The Miz against Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman interrupts, and then the match never happens because Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman beat the holy hell out of each other again. They did it again, guys. And the match between The Miz and Bronson Reed never got started as Braun Strowman attacked, resuming his ongoing rivalry with the massive Australian. They brawled around ringside, leveling security and standing tall to close out the segment, while play-by-play commentator Joe Tessitore mentioned that Miz is nowhere to be found. The Miz being overshadowed and discounted because Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed had unfinished business stayed in line with his story. And that's really all there is to say. So, but we did get a big announcement. Shortly after this, they had a commercial break, and then it came back. Adam Pearce was being interviewed, and he laid down the gauntlet, gentlemen. Next Monday night on Raw, which will be in Evansville, Indiana, Braun Strowman, Big Bronson Reed, in what they're calling, it's not a last man standing match, it's a last monster standing match. Michael Bullock, what do you make of that? Whoa. And if they're smart, they'll make that the main event next week.
Yeah, and yeah, they better also reinforce that damn ring, because who knows what the hell could happen here. But yeah, last monster standing. Whew. Man, I cannot wait for this. Who knows what you're gonna get with these two, especially after what the three of us saw in Providence weeks ago. So who knows what'll happen? So it's yours, Florio. I don't know what the hell you can predict with this.
Like I said, The Miz being overshadowed and discounted because Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed had unfinished business stayed in line with his story. At the same time, Joe Tessitore, noting that he was nowhere to be found, suggests there is still a bit of that old cowardly heel Miz running through his veins. But let me tell you about this program with Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. The Strowman-Reed program has been outstanding. Triple H found a way to take two super heavyweights here in 2024 in an era where fans prefer faster, quicker, and more athletic, and make them as relevant as they have been in years by letting them beat the holy hell out of each other. Absolutely amazing. And I mean, it started in Providence. It started with, what we saw when Bronson Reed did that epic tsunami threw Braun Strowman on the top of that car that made the light in the car burn out because of the impact. And then everything else they did. And then, of course, what they did a week ago, in Portland. Goodness gracious. But as great as both of those were, can you imagine what the two of them are going to do in a last man / monster standing match where anything goes, there's no rules? My God. And like I said, if they're smart, they'll make that the main event next week. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know what else there is to say here. So I've said I've just had my piece in this. I threw in my 2 cents. MF, outside of the whole Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, Dominic thing, I know how much you have enjoyed that for the last few months here on Raw. But next to that, you have been beyond high on Big Bronson Reed and this thing with Braun Strowman. And next week, we're going to get the ultimate Be a Man fight. Strowman and Reed, last monster standing. Oh,
yeah, and this one's going to be insane. They made the big announcement that this was going to happen, and yeah, this is going to be a hell of a fight, no doubt about it in my mind. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good one. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add. And when you talk about everything that's going on, yeah, this is going to be unique. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can tell you that much. So nothing more to say. And Anthony, yeah, back to you.
All right, and we move on to another in-ring segment. It was Drew McIntyre. With his rebuttal to that intense promo from CM Punk. Drew McIntyre hit the ring to respond to CM Punk's words of warning from last week. Like CM Punk, he spoke somberly and directly, promising to punish his rival unlike he has ever punished anyone before, despite the fact that neither of their families want them to set foot inside Hell in a Cell. He vowed to break Punk permanently in Atlanta on October 5 to wrap up the promo. Scottish Warrior warned. He very simply said, "I promise I am going to make you bleed a lot." And he also said, "It's appropriate you compared yourself to the devil again last week, because this has always been about good versus evil, hasn't it?" McIntyre was great here, echoing the common theme of his argument against Punk throughout this program. He is bad for the business and the locker room, and Drew wants him out of WWE. Man alive. I mean, you could basically call that the segment of the night right there. So, MF, I mean, Punk, the promo that Punk cut was one thing, but Drew's rebuttal, oh man, makes us want to see this match even more.
Absolutely. There's really nothing more to add. It's going to be a heck of a match. It's going to be a hell of a fight, and yeah, Drew did a really good job with the promo, and I think it's going to be pretty enjoyable. So yeah, they did a really good job with this. So there's really nothing more to add. And Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I was caught up. What are we talking about here?
The Drew McIntyre promo.
This was definitely this is a really good response by Drew McIntyre. I mean, you could just see in his eyes, like he even said he was going to make CM Punk bleed a lot. Yeah, you know this is really personal when you got words like that and what we heard from CM Punk. So this is one of the matches I'm really looking forward to, especially when it's inside Hell in a Cell, and this will be the end of one of the most intense rivalries I've seen in a long time. So really got nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
All right, guys. Next up, women's tag team action. Damage Control, Io Sky and Kairi Sane squaring off against the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Damage Control, Io Sky and Kairi Sane. They win the match, 9 minutes and 45 seconds. MF, another strong outing from Damage Control, especially Io Sky, and coming off that unbelievable match with Bianca last week, and another win for Damage Control. I mean, further cementing their case to be the next challengers for Belair and Cargill in those women's tag team titles.
Agreed. I mean, you could probably say now more than ever that they probably have cemented their opportunity at possibly becoming the next contenders for the title. So yeah, they did a really good job with this. This was about another, you could say about another probably 2.5 to 3. Big win for them, and upward and onwards. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean it's about a 2.5 to 3 star match. I mean, yeah, this definitely helps cement their case even further why they should be the next to challenge Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for those women's tag team titles. So we'll see what plays out. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, solid 3, teetering on 3.25. Good lengthy action packed bout. And which saw the heels isolate Kairi Sane and worked over her wounded left eye that she injured when she smacked her face off the announce table a few weeks earlier. And what else is there to say? I mean, Belair and Cargill were the same confident champions they have always been, but the fans' reaction to Kairi Sane and Io Sky here was overwhelmingly positive, which begs the question, would the crowd turn on the champions and root for the prospective challengers? more importantly, which team works babyface here? The work Alba Fire and Isla Dawn have put in during this run has been underrated. They have been valuable assets to the women's division as central heels for popular babyfaces to combat. Their ring work has been solid, even if there has been a lot to be desired creatively. Solid 3 to 3.25 stars. And we move on now to our next match, which was another tag team match. The Creed brothers representing American Made. You had the Creed brothers along with Chad Gable and Ivy Nile in their corner squaring off against Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day. Winners of the match in 15 minutes and 15 seconds. The Creed brothers, they win the match. And then after the match was over, Xavier Woods lost his mind again. Another tantrum from Xavier Woods, which carried over into the backstage area with the LWO coming in. And as a result of this, next Monday night on Raw, Xavier Woods is going to go one-on-one with Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio.
And the thing is, this was supposed to be Rey against Finn Balor next week.
That's right, but Xavier Woods. Xavier pushed him. He pushed Rey too far.
And then Rey's like, you know what? Finn can wait. Next week, I want to take care of your ass.
And we're going to see it next week. So, Michael Bullock, come on back in. Keep your mic on. You lead off on this match. Creed brothers winning the match 15 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this was about 3.5, 3.75 of a star. I mean, this was a really good match here. I mean, unfortunately, things did not go the way of the New Day yet again. And Xavier Woods, once again, with another temper tantrum. And the LWO, they tried to clear things up, but Xavier wasn't having it. And even ripping on the Hall of Famer, saying, you know what, why don't you teach them things to your son? And that's when Rey was like, all right, look, I have no business. I mean, I got a match with Finn Balor next week. And then Xavier's like, oh, so you want to focus on Finn Balor and try to continue to disrespect me? Then Rey's like, you know what? Finn can wait. I want you next week. And Kofi's like, what was the point of that? The LWO was just trying to clear things up, and you just made matters worse.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but this one's on Xavier. Like last week, I definitely was on Xavier's side, said I could understand and reason with why he was angry. Unfortunately, this
But
week
not this
I
week.
can't save Xavier on this one. He did this on his own. He opened the Pandora's box on this one. I can't save him. I can't excuse what he did here tonight.
Yeah, so this time, so like you said, last week you defended him, but after this week, what he did this week,
I can't.
it's like, sorry, Xavier, I'm not on your side this week.
Yep, this time you crossed the line that should not have been crossed, and because the thing and because the whole time they were saying was Kofi let you run the football. Kofi let you lead. He let you do the situation. You made the mistake by getting, I get why you wanted to take out Chad Gable, but you took your eye off the ball and you cost your team the match on this one. You only had yourself to blame for that loss.
Yeah, last week was a different story. This week, sorry, Xavier, you're the one who fumbled the ball for the team this week.
Yeah.
So I know he'd be upset with us, but hey, like Anthony Florio always says, we're just telling it like it is. So nothing more to say. 3.5, 3.75. Florio. Last week, Fletcher I mean, he defended Xavier Woods like he said, but this week, no.
Yeah. And you remember what happened last week. I mean, you remember what happened last week between. I mean, I thought we were going to have our own implosion a week ago. I was worried. I was scared, honest to God. But thankfully everything worked out great, and now we're cooking with gas once again. So
Funny thing is that because of that implosion last week, it led to some of the more higher ratings that the show's ever had.
this is true. This is.
I mean, controversy equals cash, boys.
Eric
You know,
Bischoff.
I guess they actually did not mind us bickering and having the fight.
This is true. This is true. Not quite
because
overwhelming.
this actually helped our ratings.
Yeah, it did. But anyways, okay. What else is there to say here? For me, this was the second best fight of the night here. I'm just gonna set it up. I'm just gonna set it up like this. The fourth best fight of the night was that women's tag match. The third best fight of the night was Sami Zayn and Ludwig Kaiser. This was the second best fight of the night right here. Bullet got it right on the rating, 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Excellent match. This was a strong match between two great teams. The chemistry was off the charts. And while it was necessary for the story at play, a straightforward match with a clean finish would have enhanced this one even more. Joe Tessitore correctly called out Xavier Woods for talking about composure earlier in the show, only to lose his cool and as a result, lose the match. And then backstage, a frustrated Xavier Woods disrespected Rey Mysterio and the LWO, claiming the Hall of Famer doesn't have time for him because he is not a former world champion like Finn Balor. And they agreed to Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio on next week's show, while Kofi Kingston tried to talk sense into his partner. There's definitely going to be a heel turn. We're definitely getting a heel turn. No question about that. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So there's not much more to say on that. So 3.5, 3 3/4, second best fight of the night. MF, as great as the match was, unfortunately, it gets overshadowed by Xavier's latest tantrum, heel turn coming.
Yeah, and the thing, like you said, it was more because of the tantrum. It was an unfortunate thing, but it was still a good match for what it was worth. 3 1/4, 3.5 is the right rating for it. And we can say whatever we want to say about certain things, but at the end of the day, the outcome was what we got, and like I said, it was good for what it was worth. So can't wait for next week. I think next week is going to be a heck of a fight, and there's really nothing more to add. So Anthony, back to you.
All right. Now, I believe we're at the moment we've been waiting for. We've been chomping at the bits to talk about since the show came on the air here tonight. But before we do that, let's take care of some quick house cleaning here. And then from there, we had setting it up for next week. We will have Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio. We're also going to have Kofi Kingston one-on-one with Chad Gable. And of course, what will hopefully be the main event next week, Big Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, last monster standing match. Brace yourself, Evansville, Indiana. Now then, I mentioned at the top of the show here tonight that this was a banner night. For me personally, at least. One of the reasons being, if you didn't see Monday Night Football tonight, if you didn't see what my Buffalo Bills did tonight, absolutely smashing the Jacksonville Jaguars 47-10 in a damn near 5-star performance on both sides of the football, especially Mr. JA-17. I mean, I didn't think my night could get any better than that. I would have been just content with that. Honest to goodness, I would have. But the gods, they smiled on not just me, but they smiled on all of us here tonight. Main event of the evening for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Bron Breakker, defending the title against main event Jey Uso. The winner of the match in 20 minutes and 20 seconds. And new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, main event, Jey Uso.
Yay!
Yeet.
Yeet.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, come on, boys. Yeet. We got a new champion, boys.
Oh, hold on,
He's
hold
done
on.
it.
Hold on, I gotta do this.
Come on, Bullock. Yeet.
Yay! Yay!
Yeet.
Yeah, this was insane. This was awesome. History made, unprecedented crowning. That is what I would have said if I was the commentator, but Anthony did the moment justice. Yes, 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 yes. We got a new champion. Samantha Irvin, it's yours. And he said, and Florio said it, Jey Uso has done it. His first singles championship in WWE. Holy cow, can you believe it?
Exactly as I said it.
And of course, me being the heel commentator, no, I can't believe it. No yeet.
Well, me and Bullock just yeeted like Michael Cole and Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I needed to get away from you two knuckleheads.
You're like, I've had enough for now.
Yep,
You basically pulled a Jesse the Body Ventura at WrestleMania 5.
pretty much.
Don't you give me no more hard times. I've had enough for now.
Yep.
Well, Bullock and I just go on yeeting. But, oh my God. I mean, as if what my Buffalo Bills did tonight was, as if it couldn't get any better than that. This made tonight a banner night. We haven't had a banner night like this in almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Not since that Monday Night Raw when Big E won the WWE Championship, when he cashed in the Money in the Bank on Bobby Lashley in Boston, and we ended up getting an insane Monday Night Football game with the Ravens and the Raiders. That was a banner night. But this right here, this is the best possible double whammy that you could ever have on one night. The 7th time was the charm for main event Jey Uso, who erased the disappointment and frustration of 6 previous failures to collect singles gold by defeating Bron Breakker and winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship in the main event of Monday Night Raw. So much was made of Jey Uso's failure to win singles gold in his previous 6 bouts that it was too obvious that he would win here, while also being too obvious that they would swerve the audience and rob the fans in Ontario of the title change. Good on WWE for delivering the happy ending. Wade Barrett said, Bron Breakker can do what your favorite heavyweight can do, and simultaneously, he can do what your favorite cruiserweight can do. That's what Wade Barrett said after Bron Breakker did that top rope Frankensteiner. The crowd erupted for Jey Uso's victory, a testament to everything he has done to establish himself as a single star post-bloodline. So much hype and anticipation went into this match that the main event of tonight's show was ultimately going to decide how the episode was received. The match started slower but picked up, delivering a flurry late, and the outcome fans both demanded and deserved. Their support of Jey Uso has been unwavering since he jumped into singles action, and his win over Bron Breakker was the only outcome. The match felt like a big deal, a premium live event-worthy showdown that was properly hyped by the company and sold on commentary by Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. 4 1/4, 4.5 stars, hot main event, complete with a somewhat surprising title change. It's not a shocker. Some expected Breakker to escape. I kind of expected him to. I was expecting some Judgment Day interference here in a way that might have set up a rematch and protect Jey, but the fans love Jey, so damn it, good for him for getting his first singles championship. And
Mhm.
WWE, like I said, did an incredible job of making this main event feel important with the backstage shots of both men arriving, a lengthy video package, backstage segments involving both men, and consistent hype from the broadcast team. And I don't know what else there is to say on this. I mean, absolutely incredible match. 4.25, pretty much 4.5 stars. No, 4.5 stars for me. Fight of the night. The best possible outcome you could ask for. And man, what a night. What a night. First the Bills and now this. Banner night, to say the very least. So I am going to cherish and appreciate this night for as long as I live. I don't know how long it'll be before I have another night like this in my life, but damn it to hell, I am going to be yeeting and enjoying this one for as long as I can. So,
And I know somebody else who was probably yeeting backstage.
oh, of course, Sami Zayn, absolutely,
And Rhea.
Rhea,
Ripley.
too, yeah.
Because you saw, I think it was on her Instagram, that she was yeeting away during his entrance.
Absolutely, just like we did last month. And ironically, here last month was where Jey Uso's road to the title started.
Yeah.
Think of what he's had to do in the last month just to get to this.
Well, they said he went through 12. He had to win that 12-man.
Tournament.
You could say quote unquote 12-man tournament.
Yeah, quote unquote. Yeah.
To get to that shot, and he did it.
And he won 3 matches in a span of 4 weeks to get to this moment. First in Providence, winning that triple threat match against Kofi Kingston and Karrion Kross. And then 2 weeks later in Calgary, winning that 4-way match against Braun Strowman, Pete Dunne, and Ilya Dragunov just to get to tonight. And then tonight made those 2 previous matches all the more worth it. This will forever be the biggest win of Jey Uso's singles career. After coming so close to dethroning Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2023 in that tribal combat match, only for Jimmy Uso to stick it to him. And then back in February, when he challenged then champion Gunther, he had the title. He literally had the title won, and then Jimmy screwed him again. But no Jimmy, no Judgment Day, no BS. Jey Uso gets his moment here tonight. And damn it to hell, we are all so damn proud of him, man. What a moment. What a moment. So definitely going into our moment of the the moment of the year award for our end of the year show just got a lot more interesting, even though it's still a foregone conclusion as to who's going to win it. But we can add this to the notable moments of the year for sure. So congratulations, Jey Uso. Yeet indeed. So not much more to say. 4.5 stars. Fight of the night. MF. Yeet.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to talk about here. It's just, like we said, he did it. And I know there's going to be some people out there that's going to complain about why you would bury Braun Breaker in that capacity. Well, I will openly admit it. Braun's performance, he will not be diminished by this loss. And I know a lot of people are saying, does Jey deserve this opportunity? Absolutely. I mean, if there was one guy who is so deserving of being a champion in WWE, it is main event Jey Uso. Now, I know there's some people that feel like maybe World Heavyweight title, WWE Championship, maybe that might be down the line for him. But right now, this is as good as you're going to get as the champion. So, no, for me, I was ecstatic to see that outcome. I'm ecstatic to see that they won it all. So, congratulations to Jey Uso. 4 to 4.25 stars. Yes, it is the fight of the night. You don't get any better than the moment we got. And congratulations. So it was an incredible, incredible moment. What a great victory for Jey Uso. You know, like I said, jokingly, commentary wise, yes, I'm definitely on the no yeet, but deep down, if there is a guy who is most deserving of being the Intercontinental Champion, it is Jey Uso. Tonight was his night. Tonight was his moment. And can you believe it? Ontario, California, of all places, gets a title change. Normally, you would think it would be in a bigger city like L.A., San Fran, Sacramento. You would think they would get this moment, not Ontario. But hey, good for them. Props to the WWE pulling the rug out from under us on this one. And hey, I don't mind getting the rug get pulled out when we get moments like this. So yeah, definitely highlight of the night, no doubt about it. Congratulations to the new champ. And Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Yeah, what a moment. 4.5 stars. Fight of the night. I mean, I know, like you said, there are some people who are probably going to say, why did you take the title off of Braun Breaker? Now you just buried the guy. But like you just said, Fletch, the performance that he had tonight, I don't think it's going to diminish what he did. I mean, with his run at the Intercontinental title. I mean, what he did with it was really good, and don't worry, he'll be champion again. I guarantee you on that. Because and like you said, Jey Uso has never had a singles title, and he's come close so many times to finally having a singles title. I think they figured this was the time to do it. So, yeah, 4.5 stars, fight of the night, and I'll say it again, yeet!
Yeet.
It's yours, Florio.
All right. Overall review. MF, how do you sum up this banner night?
Other than the cutout early in the evening, this was at least 8.5 to 9. Like, that's how good this Raw was. It wasn't perfect. I openly admit it. There was a couple of things that kind of was meh, but it was still strong for what it was worth. There was a lot of strong matches. There was some great segments. There was a lot of good drama, and the main event brought it home to a satisfying conclusion for all of the fans out there. For everything that we got, yeah, this was a damn good one. 8.5 to 9 is my rating for tonight's Monday Night Raw. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, other than the cutout, this was a really good show. 8.5 to 9 out of 10 on this one. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Florio, it's yours.
Outside of the main event, the rest of the show was strong, more focused even. Triple H and company eased off of the Judgment Day, thus preventing overexposure while shining a spotlight on Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and what looks to be a cracking New Day. The latest in that feud, the strong match between Sami Zayn and Ludwig Kaiser, and denial of a World Heavyweight Championship opportunity by Gunther, all furthered ongoing stories. Throw in the latest from Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed ahead of next week's last Monster Standing match, a tease for the returning Viking Raiders, and a haunting new QR code from the Wyatt Six. And you have a show that maximized its 3-hour runtime and set the stage for future episodes. I mean, amazing show that closed on a high note. I mean, one bad match. Other than that, there were 4 other matches on this show tonight, and those 4 matches were solid to good to great. Like I said, 4th best fight was the Unholy Union against Damage Control. 3rd best fight of the night, that was Sami Zayn and Ludwig Kaiser. 2nd best match was the Creed brothers against the New Day. But of course, the main event stole the damn show like we knew it would. Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship with a conclusion, a beyond satisfying conclusion. So, what a way to cap off this incredible banner night, to say the very least. So, not much more. This, and you guys nailed it. In excess of 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Amazing show tonight. So there isn't much more to say on that. So let's now get into my latest Tony's Take. I know we're all still cranked and we're all still from that ending here tonight, and rightfully so, but got to get into the other business at hand here. And we started off, of course, as always, TNA Impact from the Boeing Center at Techport in San Antonio, Texas. We get a promo from the Knockouts, which was a fun segment. There were big pops for Jordynne Grace and the Hardys entrances, and it set up the main event really well. Santino Marella booked the main event, which was a 6-person mixed tag team match. Tasha Steelz, Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers against the Hardys and Masha Slamovich. First match of the night, it was AJ Francis and Casey Navarro of First Class going up against Sinner and Saint. And First Class wins the match. 2 3/4 of a star. I was surprised at how short that match was. Sinner and Saint are really good, and they could be one of TNA's top tag teams. But I understand why they were used the way that they were here. So then we had Matt Cardona against Rhino. Rhino wins the match by disqualification, 2 stars. And then PCO came out and interrupted. And we get to see how insane PCO is with him pretending to steal chair as Matt Cardona and taking out his anger on it. It'll be interesting to see how long they go with this feud with Steph DeLander out of action. Spitfire, the new Knockout Tag Team Champions. It was Spitfire. Jody Threat, Danny Luna squaring, and this was actually a title match. And guess who answered the call here? This match was made by the liaison between TNA and NXT, that being Ariana Grace, who, of course, as we all know, is the real-life daughter of Santino Marella, who is the director of Authority in TNA. And she brought out from NXT Kendall Gray and Carly Bright. But it was still Spitfire winning the match. 3 1/4 stars. Solid showing by the NXT duo and a good win for Spitfire. And it's fun getting to see some of these NXT talents on TNA Impact. Johnny Dango Curtis squaring off against Mike Santana in a Texas death match.
Oh.
Yes. And Mike Santana won the match. 4 stars. Really good match. They did not disappoint with the stipulation of the bout and made it as violent as it needed to be. And give it up for JDC. He worked hard here as well. And then we had an in-ring segment. Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry cuts a promo stating that after defeating Josh Alexander at Victory Road, he made his next intentions clear. He wants the TNA Heavyweight Championship. He was interrupted, however, by Frankie Kazarian, and they have a back and forth. And then we actually had the champ, the World Heavyweight Champion himself, Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth comes out. He actually praises Joe Hendry. He actually gives Joe Hendry an endorsement. But then he goes to town on Frankie Kazarian. And that brings out Santino Marella. And Santino Marella makes the match next week or this Thursday night on TNA Impact. A number 1 contenders match. Frankie Kazarian versus Joe Hendry. And the winner of that match will challenge Nick Nemeth for the TNA Heavyweight Championship at Bound for Glory. Wow. Amazing. Joe Hendry is undoubtedly the hottest star in TNA right now, so it makes perfect sense that you would want him fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship. At Bound for Glory. And I cannot wait to see how this all plays out on Thursday night. Main event of the evening, 6-person tag team match. Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, the World Tag Team Champions, teaming with Tasha Steelz against the Hardys and Masha Slamovich. Hardys and Masha Slamovich winning the match. Second best fight of the night, 3 3/4 of a star. Hardys are having a great run in TNA, and the fans are eating up everything they do. And it was interesting to see Masha Slamovich drop a lot of elements of her Russian character, be herself more, and work the match as a babyface. And there's few better to do that with than Matt and Jeff Hardy themselves. 7 1/4, 7.5 out of 10. It feels a little random that TNA would determine the number one contender for the main event of the biggest show of the year like they would for a regular TNA Plus special, but here we are. The expectation would be Joe Hendry wins to set up Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth, and you wonder how John Layfield would have to play a part in that, as a face versus face might make it hard for Nick Nemeth. Masha Slamovich is a babyface now. Will they book Jordynne Grace versus Masha Slamovich for Bound for Glory? From an in-ring standpoint, that's the best match they could have on that show, and it also helps that the two have been kept apart for so long. And I'm glad that Sinner and Saint seemingly will be given more direction working with Josh Alexander. And then Santana and JDC had a really good match, and the main event with the Hardys was fun. I'm right around that 7 1/4, 7.5 threshold. So with all that being said, let's set the table. Just give me 1 second here while this loads up. I thought I saw something here. All right. Okay, I got it. Okay. Coming up this week, Zachary Wentz, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay against Kushida, Leon Slater, and X Division champion Speedball Mike Bailey. That is going to be a fun 6-man tag. How about Jonathan Gresham going up against the Laredo Kid? Rosemary and Wendy Chu are going to team up against Knockout champion Jordynne Grace and a mystery partner from NXT. Cannot wait to see who that is. And then, of course, the big one, Joe Hendry, Frankie Kazarian, number one contender match. Winner to challenge Nick Nemeth for the TNA Heavyweight Championship at Bound for Glory. So that takes care of the Impact side of things. Let's now get into the other part of my Tony's take, that of course being NXT Level Up. And let's address that real quick. Started it off with Lash Legend squaring off against Laney Reed. Lash Legend wins the match, 5 minutes and 56 seconds. Fun little match here as they went at each other with some bad intentions. The ending looked kind of rough, but still good stuff here from both women. 2.5 stars. And then we had another women's match. Brinley Reese against Callie Armstrong. Brinley Reese in 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Yeah, that was a little rough. But again, that happens sometimes when people are making their debut on this show. They started pulling things together towards the end, but could never get the crowd into it. Still, good on Armstrong for getting that first one out of the way. 0.5 star. And then the main event was Mark Coffey of Gallus going up against Shiloh Hill. Mark Coffey wins it in 5:57. Little dull as they never got the crowd into it. The replay showed that Hill lost a tooth on the bull hammer. Just a lot of strikes and not much else. 1.5 stars. It's a 5 out of 10. Opener was fun, and then things went down from there. Not sure what happened to the crowd for the last 2 matches. That's part of the charm of this show, is the small but hot crowd. As always, an easy watch, but I was hoping we were in for a really good show after the first match. Better luck next time, I guess. So 5 out of 10. And with that, that'll put the bow on this banner night edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, as always. We will be back with you on Wednesday night over on MF's channel, Racefan 95, for another edition of Wednesday Night Madness, the final NXT on the USA Network before the big move to CW next week. And then we'll also have AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. You thought tonight was a banner night? Wednesday could be just as much of a banner night. I mean, the final NXT on USA, AEW Dynamite Grand Slam from Arthur Ashe Stadium, and then we will preview Thursday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Thursday night, we got Week 5 of college football Thursday, and then from there, of course, the college football show. We know what the big game is. Georgia, and Alabama. And we're going to get into all that on Thursday. Friday night, NFL Friday, Week 4 edition. Recap of Cowboys and Giants, and then we'll preview the remaining games of week number 4. And then Saturday night, the Cerebral Smack Talk. Hopefully MF will be on for that one, as we will have, hopefully we'll have it back on MF's channel, as we'll have Friday Night SmackDown. And then in the Mikey's Mindset, MF will hit us up with AEW Collision and the MLW show, if there is one. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever, our First Lady. You know who that is. Of course, the one and only Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night from Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, especially after this banner night, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye. Let's go, Buffalo Bills Mafia. And one more time, yeet for the new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Jey Uso. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeet.